at whatever, Walmart or wherever, and you're at a cash register, how much should you be paid? Should you be able to, take care of your entire, family for a 4 or 3 or 2 or 1? I mean, you're standing at a cash register.
Well, listen, how about if we ask that question about what your husband does for a living? Who says what he earns? Who says he earns what he gets paid?
Well, no, and that's
does he deserve that? Why does he deserve that?
Why does anybody deserve what they're paid? And so there's an interesting question.
So lawyers, oh my God.
So no, and
you have to bring. I mean, you're not going to bring someone into.
It's easy for you to sit there in your comfortable little house and say that. How can these black people,
Don, you have to stop assuming things about people. You just have to. You have no idea about anything.
I can only assume based on what you say, Lucinda. You open your mouth, something comes out, I have to base my assumption on that.
But you just started, and I'm not trying to get in an argument with you because it's fruitless, because you make no sense. You're saying I sit in my comfortable little house. I do have a comfortable little house. But that you would have no idea of that. You know nothing about the people you talk to.
But you're sitting there judging about who should earn what.
Let me back up for a second.
You're making a judgment call.
I just got done
why would that cashier at Walmart deserve to make more than minimum wage?
All right, kids, stop. Don. I'm going to have to mute you here in a second. Now, listen to me, both of you. Listen to me right now. I'm going to tell you guys how it is. All right? I'm going to tell you both how it is.
All right, Don.
No one.
All right, here we go.
No one deserves what they have. Because
that is so true.
Because those who have plenty don't deserve to have more than others. And those who have nothing certainly don't deserve to have nothing.
That's what Jesus said, for God's sake.
and I say this in all sincerity because nobody got it because they deserve it. They got it because of a combination of luck and skill and more luck and serendipity and where the hell they were born and who their parents were.
Hard work.
Hard work certainly
but
can improve.
But that's relative, Lucinda, because that girl who works at that cash register busts her ass just as hard as your husband does titty tapping on a keyboard somewhere all day.
And serendipity has to play. So here's my point. Here's the problem, Lucinda, and I'm gonna, and Don, by the way, who wears his bleeding heart on his sleeve, I'm sure has spent a little bit of money on something from time to time and has never thought, this money I'm spending is filthy lucre that I don't deserve to have. So here's my point, though. My point is we all like to rationalize. We look around and we go, oh, there's kids starving in Africa. There was a tsunami washed a bunch of people away. There's this, there's that. But it's not really my concern per se. I mean, I'm concerned, but collectively, me and my brethren here in America will spend more on pet food every year than we will on foreign aid helping the starving kids. And we're fine with that. And I'm fine with that. But you just have to get your head above the big picture and realize, as charitable as you think we all are, and as deserving as we think we all are, we don't really deserve what we have. And a person who has $300 million that they inherited, or even if they made it themselves through some lucky fortune, doesn't really deserve that either. The real test is, what do they do with it? That's where you come into the Bill and Melinda Gates and people like that who realize, wait a minute, I have all this money. What am I going to do with it? And now they can do one thing that the poor people couldn't do, because they have accumulations of wealth and they can target problems with it. And they can make charitable giving in a meaningful way and aggregate it the same way a private charity might. So anyhow, I could go on and on, but my point is nobody really deserves what they have. The only measure is what you do with how little you have or how much you have.
You're very right. I appreciate you saying that. And I mean, all
the poor people redistribute that back into their local economy more than the wealthy people do.
Now, listen, Don. Do you have any sympathy for me? Right? I gambled all that money away. You have sympathy for me? I hope not.
No, I got to be honest with you, Colin. No, I don't.
Right, and so the answer.
I like you. I think you're an awesome dude. I like you a lot. I really do.
But do you see what I'm saying?
There are principles.
Right, and I'm saying is I squandered all that. I squandered a lot of wealth that was not mine. I squandered a lot more wealth that was mine.
But I got to say, I do respect you for being honest about it. It's a huge person to do that, and I love you for that.
But I say it like this. I say, the choices we make sometimes are great and sometimes not so great.
Right.
And the measure is, so my only solace is, obviously now I have to figure out how to make that right and put my brain to making a pile of money to give it back to a bunch of people, which I'm working on very successfully, by the way. But that's a story for another day. Anyhow, let's get back to the the wolf at the door here. Watch the next couple days for the campaigns. Think carefully about who you guys want to vote for. Don, you can't vote in this election. I know as a Democrat, you'll come up and commit voter fraud because Republicans are sure.
Hey, Tom Wolf is really not that great of a Democrat.
Right, and that's why I like him.
He's a Democrat in name only. In reality, he's a moderate Republican. But the Republicans are running so far away from the Tea Party that they have to call themselves Democrats now to be moderate.
And I'm going to tell you something. 2 years ago,
because in any other world, Tom Wolf is a Republican. Dude.
Right.
20 years ago, he would have been a Republican.
Carl, do you think that he's going to, if he gets elected, if Wolf gets elected, he will raise the minimum wage? That was my original question.
The short answer is again, his hands are going to be tied by the legislature. Here's the fascinating thing. Tom Corbett, much like, is a Republican, and he has Republicans in charge of the Senate and Republicans in charge of the legislature. And best I can tell, he can't get anything done. And he's saying, well, I played it too close to the vest, and I just wasn't good with the legislature, but I got it now. In the next 4 years, I'll really do a better job. Tom Wolf's going to come in as an opposing party, and he's going to be a little smarter about it and say, all right, boys, what are we going to do? How about I'll sign this if you pass that? And they're going to go, hey, we like this guy. He actually has a plan. He's saying, hey, let's do some things, and I'll give a little ground in exchange for something instead of just running around doing mentally insane things like trying to sell the lottery to some British firm. I'm just saying. So I just don't think Corbett. I really don't think Corbett's there. I think he's kind of a space cadet.
This for the last year.
Yeah, I think
you've been calling it for a year now that he's not going to.
Yeah, he has. You're right.
I have been actually, and I'm going to go back 2 years ago when I was at some muckety muck Republican event smoking cigars, and the Attorney General's election was not in the bag yet, but the conventional wisdom was that Kane was going to win, and they were saying then, and I say they, I mean some power brokers in the state were saying, Corbett's done. He's the first one-term Republican governor. His first one-term governor. It's done. It's in the handwriting's on the wall already. So he didn't ever really have strong internal party support. They've given it lip service and they've done the rah, rah, rah that they're supposed to do. But they were pretty much figuring that it was a cooked goose 2 years ago. And that's why I think the goose is still cooked.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this show up. So thanks for calling in. Have a great night. We will obviously report back. Maybe I'll do a little live quick piece Tuesday night when we get some election results.
Do it.
Hey, right. One quick question, Carl. What's with the band?
Oh, okay. Well,
Are you in a band now?
No. My buddy has this band, and they were using the same space, and they even stole my microphone. So I just put the cell phone in. But then I didn't realize that the mayor of Carlisle had asked them to quiet down by a certain hour because they were shaking the building.
Oh, brother.
I got somebody else that wants to join the group. Go one more caller. Hey, caller number 3.
Hey, can you hear?
Can we hear you, Xander?
Not anymore.
Xander?
Hey, is that?
Hey, what? Hey, what?
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. What's going on, my friend?
I'm on the back of my roof trying to get some work done.
Work?
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, it is what it is. I listen to you even if I'm busy working. It's a nice windy day to be putting up 20-foot panels.
In the dark? In the dark?
I have
in the dark?
No. I have 2 500-watt halogen bulbs, and I have a very bright headlamp I use for mountain biking at night and whatnot. So, I'm good.
God damn, that's fascinating.
Mountain biking at night?
He's starting on you already, Xander.
Okay.
All right, Xander. You got 3 minutes. You got 2 minutes to get your opinion out. So just speak freely for a minute.
Well, that's like 2 sentences for that moron.
All right, Don, shut up and let him talk. All right, Xander, spit.
Okay.
Second, Xander, speak up.
That being said, okay, this is my, question to all the listeners and everything. Feel free to try and look up what the DEP study, independent, talked about Obama's new EPA regulations that he's talking about for the carbon emissions and what it's going to do to the coal industry, including a lot of Pennsylvania coal jobs. Wolf's a strong supporter of it. Still make your choices. And as for Corvette not doing anything extra for gun people, he did just sign the strictest and the most, NRA gives the strongest preemptive bill ever in the United States, which says, when you want to go into Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, they're not going to be able to just say, hey, we're going to override the Constitution of the state and say you're not allowed to carry a gun even though you were legally to.
Well, theoretically, beforehand, all they changed was this. I mean, the way that what that bill really changed is it allows the NRA or other organization to stand in front of it for a member. So it just basically means I don't have to show up in court and say, hi, I'm Carl Rominger. I want to sue, Judge. The NRA can show up and say, hey, Carl Rominger and 8 of our other members live in Philadelphia, and we want to sue, Judge. And he can't say, then I want to hear from them, because they're allowed to speak for you. They're granted standing. So it's a solution to a problem that didn't really exist, because there's always a crazy guy like Carl Rominger who would file the suit and let the NRA pay the bill.
Hey, when I was in Philadelphia recently, and you know what? I could carry I'm a legal concealed carrier. And, I didn't have an issue. Not like I'm going into federal buildings or anything.
What the hell you need a gun for,
if I would have tried, pardon?
Are you going to shoot somebody? What the hell you need a gun for, man?
If you have to, you do.
I can't imagine why you would need to carry a concealed weapon, dude.
Carl,
you
may I answer this, please?
You're not a former lawyer. You may have people looking for you.
Carl, may I answer this, please?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
What is it,
regretfully, and I use the word, I want to answer Don's question if you'll actually allow me to speak. Regretfully, and I use the word regretfully, I was not a concealed carrier at one time. I was face-to-face in an armed robbery in a convenience store with someone that was higher on drugs and went on to commit other crimes, and I was fortunate to be spared. I could have been shot right there on the site and not have stood a chance.
So you're scared.
I want to continue. In my lifetime, I had somebody where they actually tried to kidnap somebody, and it was one of those situations where I did not want to get involved because the rule is you always de-escalate. You always de-escalate. You do whatever you can to de-escalate. I saved the kidnapping. And that's something I regret having to have even experienced. But the bottom line is, if the crap ever hit the fan, I'd like to be able to stand a chance to say, you know what, I'm not going to have to cower in a corner and hope that person doesn't come around.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so, Xander, who are you voting for?
You know what? Believe it or not, I'm not happy with Corvette, and I'm not happy with Wolf, but I'm leaning towards Corvette only because I know, talking to Wolf people, his campaign people and stuff, that he's a strong proponent of those EPA regulations, and it's going to kill, the studies say it could kill tens of thousands of PA coal-related industry jobs as things are implemented over the next 10, 12 years. And I don't want to be someone that stood for someone who was willing to do that. Right. We don't have replacement energy right now in Pennsylvania. It is what it is.
All right, my friend, I'm letting you go. You made it at the 11th hour, but I'm out of here.
Take care.
Take care. You've been listening to Rominger Radio. This is Carl Rominger here. Don't forget to check us out Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Of course, we may do a little special for the election. Thanks for listening. Of course, I really didn't tell you who I'm going to vote for, but I think you can catch my cues that I'm not happy with Corbett. I don't think he's done what he needed to do, and I think Tom Wolf has done a pretty good job of persuading me that he's going to do it a little differently. And hell, he's from the area, so he can't be all bad, right? And he's a business guy. Like Don Stevens pointed out earlier in his one poignant moment of the show, he would be a Republican pretty much anywhere except Pennsylvania in 2014. God bless. Have a good night.